Hello, my name's Michael Conneely, and what's bringing this video and its accompanying blog is that April 2022 are the hinge of change, with a call for many of us to understand what is meant by the life-changing Sade Sate period. What's specifically prompting this post is that those with their natal moon in Vedic Pisces start Sade Sate this month. And those with natal moon in Capricorn Aquarius are already in Sade Sate. And for those with natal moon in Vedic Sagittarius, Sade Sate is coming to an end, although with a 6-month kick in the tail a bit later on this year. So what is Sade Sate? Well, Sade Sate is the 7.5-year period when Saturn transits through the sign before your natal moon, the sign of your natal moon, and the sign after your natal moon. So in this case, with Saturn changing sign from Vedic Capricorn to Aquarius now, those with Pisces moon will start their super significant, powerful, hinge life-changing and life direction changing once every 28-year Sade Sate period. Sade Sate is actually in truth a dangerous period. Really good rebirth experiences can come out of it, but it carries dangers, especially if we don't see it for what it is and know about it. It's like going down into a pit with health risks as a major factor and major sadness possibilities, but with the divine purpose, if only we are aware enough to see that, of being reborn, of being reborn, of rising up again with the needed new pathway in life. The new pathway that's more in line with our incarnational life purpose and destiny, why we are here this time. Of aligning with our true life purpose that actually are blocks and prison walls that might have been instilled into us from childhood, without us even knowing about all this, without us even realizing, they can be blocking our true connection to our true path. And the Sade Sate period will, painfully or otherwise, do its best to force us to become the you that was intended for this incarnation. So if you have your natal moon in the Vedic signs of Capricorn, Aquarius or Pisces, or indeed Sagittarius, do absolutely get in touch with me for one of my truly expert readings. I will share with you what must die in your life now, and also what must arise anew in your life now. I will share with you what are the particular dangers you need to know about and what to watch out for. And I will share ways of creating your newfound benefits. That's the heart of the matter. But importantly, I'll use the exceptional range of techniques which are listed at the end of the blog post that are drawn from both expert Vedic astrology in its true vastness and also Western psychodynamic astrology, and this has been my approach for 26 years now. Actually, it's important to realize that due to the exceptional number of planets changing sign in April 2022, whether or not we're in Sade Sate or starting it or ending it, all of us are actually on the edge of multiple hinge of change now. That is because the nodes of the moon change sign this April. I'll be doing a separate video about that. And also because a load of planets change signs during April. Crucially, these are Jupiter, Neptune, Saturn, Venus, Mars and Mercury. So this atmosphere of hinge, of change, of living on the edge can create chilling, uncertain feelings, can create fear and uncertainty. And I do actually feel that Saturn is getting the last drops of us each now as he's approaching the final few weeks of his current transit through Capricorn. But of course, even though he'll get as much as he can out of us at this time, we've got to remember that there's another 6 months sneaky after attempt, if you like. Oh, sorry, I meant a further Capricorn gift of hard learning later on in this year. But of course, all this can have wonderful potential if only we can identify it. It's needed. We have to create the strategy for bringing the right identity in, the right future path in. So we all need to see Sade Sate as actually potential for us doing deep mining into the karmically and existentially needed nature of our fuller life, our needed new persona, who am I? So if we are in Sade Sate now, we absolutely have to see that some things, some scripts, some patterns in our life must die now. It's no good clinging on to them. And many of us will be searching now for what must come in new, be born anew. And hopefully many of us will find the more wonderful right new pathway forward for now. I'm a Chitra San, Chitra Nakshatra San, so I know that in this life our hidden pearl needs over and over and over again in our life more polishing and repolishing so that it can shine more brightly. So the point is that one of the biggest changes that 1/12 of us will feel this April is that Sade Sate is starting for those with Pisces moons in their Vedic birth chart. So if you are starting Sade Sate now, or if you're already in it, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius moons, get in touch with me for a reading. My readings are truly expert. They combine the vastness of the declaration of Vedic astrology with crucial awareness of psychodynamic Western astrology. I'm also a shamanic healer. They can point to healing options and further study possibilities as well. Now I would mention at this point that I myself start Sade Sate this month, my 3rd Sade Sate period. So I'm feeling the tension. I'm having to define what changes I think I need to bring about. And so in preparation for it and in response to other astrological factors as well, I've been working on a huge new worldwide project that I believe will fully utilise my skills, gifts and experiences and those of the team I'm working with. My webmaster is working on it and I should be able to unveil it later this month. I'm also creating a whole new current in my work of shamanic astrology, which will link astrological analysis with expression of the shamanic dimensions that I love, and I'll be unveiling that shortly too. Thirdly, my wife and I have just opened our 2nd Airbnb unit attached to our healing centre here in the west of Ireland, on the beautiful Atlantic coast. And out of the blue, a friend is talking of running outdoor spiritual and healing events with us here. But of course, with Sade Sate, there's always health to watch. And absolutely crucially, I'm rebalancing my work to fit in with my health requirements and natural rhythms. There's a twist to that tale that recently another friend of ours recommended a local homeopath living in a little cottage tucked away in the rural landscape very near us. We'd not heard of him before. And surprisingly, he turned out to have previously worked as the chairman of Knock Airport and the director of economic development of a UK local authority. Amazing. And so helpful. Now, I would like to mention that my 2 previous Sade Sate periods were utterly life-changing. And I want to stress that I went into them with no useful awareness because of the unfortunate sort of upbringing that was imposed on me, completely wrong for my nature, for my destiny path now. So I detail that in the blog rather than go into it now, but do have a look and you'll see what Sade Sate can do. And it was tough each time. So I'm telling you all of this to try to show you how weirdly and how frighteningly and how unexpectedly Sade Sate works. How destructive of our life path Sade Sate can be if that life path is wrong, and how it can bring about rebirth, and how we must all understand and cooperate with that. So having explained something of the super important general depth principles at work, the teaching of Saturn, Lord Shani for Sade Sate, I thought I'd now share with you a couple of the specific details about how it works and the different phases. Now, the actual dates of this upcoming Saturn transit are that Sade Sate starts for people with Pisces moon in their birth chart when Saturn changes sign shortly into Vedic Aquarius on April the 29th. Note that Saturn does drop back into Vedic Capricorn a bit afterwards on July the 12th, but Saturn returns to Aquarius and establishes him there when he re-enters Aquarius from the 17th of January next year, 2023. Saturn then remains in Aquarius until he enters Pisces on the 23rd of March 2025. So the point is that in this month of April 2022, another 12th of humanity will enter Sade Sate. Now note that those valid and important dates are all based on Saturn transits through the 12 zodiacal signs expressed in the sidereal zodiac of Vedic astrology. But do note also that it's crucially also necessary to examine Saturn's transits through the Nakshatra occupied by your natal moon, as well as the surrounding Nakshatras. Now, the Nakshatras are the wonderful 27-sign lunar zodiac of Vedic astrology. They are such a wonderful declaration of our emotionally based personality. They're incredibly ancient. And they also are so uniquely define quite a percentage of our relating patterns. So useful to know. They're deeply ancient and they are most wonderful and accurate, unique declaration. So what I'm doing here at this stage in the post is setting out a very simplified statement of the type of experience and timetable those of us with Pisces moon will start to experience from this month of April 2022. But your reading with me will get not only the crucial statement of Saturn's transits through the 3 signs, you'll also get the crucial statement of Saturn's transits through the nakshatras surrounding your moon. And indeed, I list at the end of the post a whole list of other very skilled interpretation tools and techniques I use from both Vedic and Western astrology. Now there are actually 3 nakshatras within the sign of Pisces. There's the end part of Purvabhadra nakshatra, as well as Uttarabhadra nakshatra, and thirdly there's Revati nakshatra, which is the final nakshatra at the end of the zodiac. So as an example, to show you how the nakshatra-based Sade Sate timetable is calculated and how it works, I set out for you, and it's shown in the blog, the general principles, the sort of experience you can expect in each of the 7 stages for any natal moon. And then I mentioned the dates of each of the 7 stages specifically for an Uttarabhadra moon in the centre of Pisces. So have a look at that. It's depth astrology. It's so useful to be advised and forewarned. Forewarned sometimes of things like mental stress, feelings of lack of success, but also of times in the sequence that can be a fool's paradise. I won't go into this because it's so factual and detailed. It's better read in the blog which accompanies this video. And the next technique I'd like to mention from the immense gift of Vedic astrology is Ashtakar Varga. And now that is a way of scoring how strongly supported you or I am when any planet transits through one of our signs. And it is super important to know how well or badly you will be supported when Saturn goes through the sign before your moon, the sign occupied by your moon, and the sign after your moon. And in the blog, I give 2 charts for Pisces moon persons, one who has very little support, 0 support in his standing in the world when Saturn enters Aquarius, as per this month, the first sign of 3 signs Sade Sate, and not much better in the following 2 signs. And then I show a second chart, an example, about a guy who has very poor support when Saturn is transiting Aquarius, but very strong supportedness when Saturn is transiting Pisces, where his natal moon is. So in conclusion, I hope I've explained something of the deep spiritual purpose that Sade Sate is all about. And I've shared something of the wonderful astrological techniques I use for studying your personal Sade Sate period when you have a reading with me, combining Vedic astrology with the deep awareness of psychodynamic Western astrology. So what I would mention is that other astrological techniques I bring in are, of course, the dashas, the wonderful predictive periods of Vedic astrology. These are more powerful than transits, but in a more background way. And you need to know particularly how the planetary lord of your dasha main period and the sub-periods will manifest from its position and standing in your Vedic birth chart. How will you experience that period? Also, of course, the transit of planets. And obviously I use the Vedic planets plus Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, plus, super importantly, Chiron. Also, of course, I use the Varsh file, the solar return chart, and that does set a definite keynote for your year ahead in your Sade Sate period, as expressed by the Munta, the one-size-fits-all indicator for your year ahead, calculated from the Varsh file chart, and also the year lord. I also always use 2 absolutely wonderful and accurate age points from psychodynamic Western astrology. These are the individuation age points, the unfoldment of our psychological awareness of our egoic self's psychology and our ability to use that awareness to manage ourself and ideally to improve its spiritual functioning. But also, totally wonderful and accurate, there's the psychodynamic Western astrology nodal age point. And where the nodal age point is on the rim of your chart as it goes round your chart, expresses where you will particularly be offered the whisper of your soul to you from the astral, which you may listen to and understand and implement, or may block. And of course I also use secondary progressed moon, day for the year progressions from Western astrology, which is, very necessary. I mean, my point is, it's no good just analysing the Sade Sate period. It's got to be seen in accompaniment with the other astrological energies flowing through your consciousness, through your life. So I hope this has been helpful, and you can book an astrology reading with me on the buy page of my Star Wheel Astrology website. And my wife, Maggie Pashley, offers a huge range of healing modalities worldwide, and her website is www.maggiepashley.com. Now, importantly, all the charts and the wonderful parts for our April Astrology and Healing newsletter are on the April page in our Star Wheel Astrology website. And also in that website, there's a wonderful series of links to the video and blogs that I have created for each of the Nakshatras and each of the planets. So I do hope that this post will be helpful to you so that you don't, as it were, go under through the Sade Sate pressures, tensions,